Well, today I was just gonna hit back at British royals for embarrassing me, trying to embarrass me. To embarrass me, they did embarrass me severely. They did in front of my schoolmates. They did. This is a skiing, like a little skiing area. This used to be much smaller than what it is now. Now they expanded the whole thing. I can see the old one over there and the new one. And I would go skiing, and it was with the schoolmates, with the school. And there will be Prince Charles that will also come with a Princess Anne to agitate, to insult with, based on MK Ultra scenario, they will appear over there and have kids. My schoolmates literally talk to them, and for mistreatment that I do during MK Ultra, I would not even want to. I try to approach them, but then I would not even want to approach, not to Princess Anne, not to Prince Charles. This was in Slovenia. And they, of course, they video recorded themselves doing that stuff to me, which is very, very, very insult. Very, very insulting. Here you cannot see much now. This is what they enlarged. This is now much bigger than what it used to be, and it was snow this year, but usually there is no snow. There is nothing going on. But in old days, back in 1980, there used to be snow. There was a lot of snow. And they tortured me involving the class also, the grammar school class. And then they delivered me here during MK Ultra and so on. Prince Charles mingled with the children from the grammar school of Novo, mesto, literally. Then, after they created some scenarios that placed me in the light of, I don't know, selfish, and I don't know what kind of person they tried to portray me as. They went on with the kids, and they posed on the side with them, and it was like, oh, hello, this and that, and so on, and then, and they anticipated that I would approach to them like little disgraced child, like in that manner, while they wanted to pose like, you know, the Queen song, I am the one, the only one, you know, in that style. Give me the prize. Like expecting of me basically to go on my knees in front of the kids and try to buy their sympathies with, you know, like demanding basically for me to bend down in front of the, you know, like, wow, you know, because I rejected to bend in front of anybody. Maybe that was even an issue or something like that. I don't know. But I could not understand why my friends, practically my family, would do the stuff like this to me and then expect me in front of the kids to behave in such a way. And I did not. I just scared away. I just ignored it. Yeah, well, this was like a third grade of the grammar school. Now, the year must have been like in 1980, maybe even 1979. And yeah, I just didn't want to have anything to do with it. It didn't happen once, it happened maybe twice, maybe even more than twice. And I was too busy doing my stuff. At first, it felt like I'm missing on something very important. And as I pay attention to myself, basically to the reason why I came, it just made things easy for me. What happened was I ended up ignoring them and basically going my way while they became entertained with the children. And that was just completely fine with me. They did this stuff like this. They did something similar to me in Miami at my ex-wife's store, where they also would approach me. They would do stuff like this, and basically I deemed that this is not a way to approach to me. I felt that for me to be introduced to royals or to a Hollywood people, they were not the only people who did this. There were some Hollywood people who did the same thing. There should be some sort of communication between us, a proper introduction to one another. Etiquette, basically. I was very, 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 very detailed about it. I was I had my expectations about it. Of course, that I was just nobody on a surface. And I didn't feel much about whatever went on under the surface. Definitely not enough that I would go and take matters in my hand and, try to give anybody a lesson. But enough to understand that since they have such a high social status and I had none, but that we do know each other from somewhere, I was not willing to give up on that status, and that was an MK Ultra status. I deemed that this was not a proper way to present yourself to me, because it was very insultive, derogatory toward me. It will be like basically in front of the entire class to present yourself to me in such a way so that it would make all my schoolmates feel like they're next to nobody. And they tried to do that stuff and they did not succeed with it. My schoolmates tried to do that stuff. They were sure that I'm going to go down on knees in front of them and so on. And it did not happen. It was, I remember, a schoolmate, whichever was his name, he said, oh, he's going to go down on, he's going to be all taken and this and that, and he's going to, and it just didn't happen, that kind of stuff. I just, he admitted later on to the teachers that I was completely cold, that I surprised everybody, that I was totally cold, and instead I kept the distance, and that nobody could even understand me. Yeah, it was not difficult to understand me, but even if the person is small and it's a child, and still I was not an ordinary child. I was not an ordinary child under any means. I was a child politician. And I really was not much. I still don't think I was much. even that I really was. I was a whole lot of a politician. Still, in a way, I definitely do not think I was much from my point, from my perspective, from my personal inside view, but from what I see, the stuff that went on, I was a whole lot. Seriously, a lot. But the thing is, I didn't want to make things difficult for anybody. I wanted to keep things simple and friendly. And these people just did not feel the same way. They wanted to take the prize. And they did. They wanted to see how I'm gonna, once I hear them, see them, on how I'm gonna quickly, and see my schoolmates. That was the main thing about this British royals. Prince Andrew and Prince Charles, they wanted me to see the schoolmates based on MK Ultra scenario, how they will be thrilled, how they will be happy to see, excited to see them, on a skiing area. And it just didn't happen. It just didn't happen. I saw them because this is what the scenario was. Prince Charles and Princess Anne said to me, and we're going to be there and we're not going to pay any attention to you. This is how they brainwashed during MK Ultra. Instead, I'm going to be paying attention to your schoolmates with whom they were playing with during MK Ultra in order to make me jealous. And so the big day came, and the only thing that happened is what I stated. I just turned around the skis, and I just skied away, basically. Left everybody all confused. So they hope that I'm going to go in their ass, basically. That I'm going to go on my knees and and this and that. No. And so they spent quite a few days appearing themselves on this skiing place without my ever giving any kind of attention, any fucking attention. And that was not really, that was really not exciting to them, to the British Royals. It was rather a good slap. Seriously, not that I would want to do this to them, but there is a proper protocol to follow. I did believe, since I was a nobody, and since you are much bigger, much stronger, older and everything, that you should present yourself to me, follow basically a normal protocol of communication, of socializing. That's basically what I had as an expectation. And when that sick scenario came up on a picture, I fucking ignored them for the whole week. I would just, this was a vacation we had, and the parents gave me the chance to go ski, and in the winter they did this organized for the kids and stuff like that. They pay skiing and stuff, and we had a skiing, and we have also MK Ultra, literally madness. And so the kids from the grammar school where I was at, this Gurm, Osnovna Škola Gurm, they thought that this was a really cool. This is like something impossible that could take place. And I was not that excited. Charles came up to the conclusion with Anne and with Edward that I am just a spoiled brat, that I am just that I thought that they're gonna go in my ass, that they're gonna go and then they're gonna go in front of me down on their knees, which of course never ever was the case. So I am just saying that all those recordings that you have, videos, and from Miami, and even here as I was a child from Črmošnjice, from Gače, this doesn't work. what you can do as well as mine is throw that stuff in a garbage, in a trash bin, because it's not gonna do you any good. It's all lies, and this issue too was used to intimidate, to harass, to make me feel, yeah, exactly the way I described in this video here. This guy became a police officer to say, what is this here? Living in the country since 2015. This guy became a police officer, like they say, like in 2020 or something like that, if I understand this properly. This Montenegrin guy posed as a police officer already since like 2010 in Illinois. It's a large Serbian community, and this guy is from Montenegro, and because he's from Montenegro and because the Montenegrin politicians would like to bring the Montenegro back under the Serbia, he was sent to Chicago to be there with expectations on how I'm going to go after him publicly, that he was involved in MK Ultra and this and that. This guy was actually a very polite, very nice guy, and out of the people who engaged in torture, Montenegrin people were involved in Mount Everest of physical torture with the Serbs. They chose him as the one that would travel to the USA and would witness on my behalf on how he met me and so on. Totally coordinated with the Serbia, this thing here. And not too long ago, look at that, it was an immigration, I understand, in, what is this, October 2025, they arrested him. This is a weird guy because he's a good-looking guy and there was good-looking chicks, and he would just not want to get any woman, any wife. And then there was one that I found him, that I did not found him, but they got him something, and I like that. And then he said, if I'm ever gonna have to get married, it's gonna be this one. This was like in, when he said that stuff to me, that was like in 2012, 2013, something like that. 2012. He got a lot of marriage show proposals. Yeah, that's supposed to make me also feel sick because, yeah, I was in the US, as you know. I sacrificed myself to get the American citizenship with the idea to become a police officer, law enforcement officer. I passed those examinations for police officer, correctional officer. They had no way to say no, whether that be for the border guard, even for the CIA, FBI, and it just happened so that they started to instead destabilize totally my work history. They started to use jobs to present me as unstable on job individual and use that as an excuse to decline me the right to become a police officer. After they couldn't even refuse, exactly as I explained to you. That's one. Oh, his name is Radule Bojovic from Montenegro. Oh, there you go. This is Blagojevic is a Serbian who was just released by Donald Trump. This is a Serbian criminal who was, I stayed in Chicago also, right? I stayed in Chicago, but this is a criminal who was involved very long time in MK Ultra. And he played a nice guy. It's just for some reason that these nice guys are always criminals. Whenever they play a nice guy, when you have a nice guy during MK Ultra, it always turns out almost, not always, but almost to be a criminal. Unlike this guy here, where is this guy here? This video was dedicated to what you have seen. Unlike Alex Preti. Yeah. Unlike Alex Preti. Well, Alex Preti also had weird scenarios, but that was supposed to go into the category of the nice people. This guy, Alex Preti. Involved in MK Ultra, involved in MK Ultra. This video is about this thing here. This is what this is about. This is just to remind of this is just to remind of the, you know, that you're not gonna fuck with me. This is just to remind that I'm not, I don't know what, never thought about myself to be I don't know what I what, but I'm not a trash either. I'm not a trash.
And now to breaking news. NBC News has learned that President Trump...
He releases this guy from the prison after he committed a very serious criminal offenses. This individual, just like a Serbian Vojislav Šešelj, negotiated his release with the now Serbian President Aleksandar Vučić. Is a famous Serbian president that went after involved also in an act of terror, state-sponsored terrorism, on a train station, Novi Sad, and had literally a war with the Serbian students, younger people, and was used also in the process of releasing this guy who was involved in MK Ultra for a very long time with his family and so on, to obtain, we'll call it a pardon. I mean,
Trump will
you know, in the United States of America, you know, not things are all equal for everybody.
pardon former Illinois Governor Rod Blagojevich. Political reporter Marianne Ahern right now is outside of Mr. Blagojevich's home. Tell us what you're hearing, Marianne.
Where I was already God knows how many times. Russians and Serbs, bad people, they glued themselves on me like, I don't know, giving you some example from Animal Kingdom, like the fish that glue itself on a bigger fish. I don't know how you call those, but this is like a vacuumist. Like they glue on you and it's like obsession with you. Like they would not let you free. They would not let you live because like a parasites, they continue to suck on connections through you. Because having you, that means world of criminal connections on the other side of the world, which interacts with them literally through you. Donald Trump figured out that for as long as you have a people like Blagojevich doing a favors, like release of the Vojislav Šešelj, the war criminal from the court in Hague, and you know, assisting others to literally disappear. The U.S. government doesn't have any chances to go after him because U.S. government simply just needs people like him because of the connections that he created, and will remain as a favorite option of the Kremlin, of the Belgrade. I am not going to go over you with this stuff. I'm just giving you, I would say to this, in Slovenian you would say utrinki. Utrinek means like impressions, you know, like a short impressions. But this video, just as I stated, this video is about this thing here. This is dedicated to the British royals. This individual was involved in MK Ultra, and this was a very nice individual. This was a psychiatrist. This is a psychiatrist. It's a Jewish rabbi, a psychiatrist. I already have posted something about him now, but he was directly involved in it, and it would be no fucking way that he would not be involved in it. Jews made sure, whether that preemptively or after they caught these Jews, that they're Jews. If like this guy, once he was caught as a pedophile, they would involve him in MK Ultra and present him through the video recording and stuff like my friend, like my dear friend, like my supporter, literally. So this is very, very, very important because it's about, this video is a psychology. This is a MK Ultra psychology. This is psychology which British Royals, Central Intelligence Agency, NATO, you know what the NATO is? The European Union, like Ursula von der Leyen, commissioners and stuff. This is a psychology that they used on MK Ultra victims. This is how they terrorize you, traumatize you, and then when you come back into environment, and then you see this shit. You see it around you, you see it in parents, you see it in your schoolmates, you see it in the media, you see whatever the fuck you turn around. They create like a net, like a spider net around you. It's completely different world which they continue to enforce. And at later stage in life, refer to that openly as a mental illness. So this criminal was involved in it, and he is a Jewish rabbi. He's a rabbi. So that would be like impossible not to be my friend. It is just as simple as this. That's how they designed the program. Horowitz Allen, psychiatrist. There is some more right there. I did just report it on that. So you got here, this here. This here were all involved. All the Jewish CEOs were involved in it. It's maybe interesting how the BlackRock got into Ukraine, Jews, how they plundered into Ukraine. The way they got themselves into Ukraine was by simply George Bush wanted to invade Iraq, oil. And there was no way to get Jews on board. And now you have all these minorities in the United States of America, blacks, Jews, Latinos, and yeah, whites and Asians. And every one of these minorities wants to profit something from within. When something major happened and not supposed to happen, because United States of America, as you know, is a land of brave and free. It's a freedom. That's what they claim. They have this big statue and they claim people, wow, it's a freedom and this and that. They have to, U.S. government has to, as a president, as acting president, that's what your job is to corrupt all the minorities, ethnicities that could pose you a trouble, protest against you within the system. This is what you have to do. And so just like Donald Trump did with the Somali, and even with the Black Lives Matters when it comes to Gaza genocide, and Somalis have the same purpose. With the Somalis, Donald Trump was about to take friendship. It may take a major turn and is going to start to favor Somalis based on MK Ultra brainwash and so on. It was Jews that demanded their share during war on Iraq. So what they did was George Bush literally, together with the Germans, made sure that Ukrainians would not be taken inside of the European Union. They would keep them out of the business and instead open the door to the American Jews. And here is the company, one of the companies. There is more Jewish companies that plundered into Ukraine. And so, for that matter, he selected American Jews to be the right one. What's interesting about this stuff is also this was a return favor of George Bush for keeping Jews at bay, silent in respect to invasion of Iraq. Now, American Jews will not give him no problem. But this is the ethnicity in the United States of America that is just flying, basically. They are right at the top of this pyramid, and they are sucking from American taxpayers everything they can get a hold of. And so the bridge that George Bush created between Ukraine and between the United States of America was based purely on Jews. And demanded from me a blessing for them to be the one, the chosen one, the right one for the Ukraine. With a literally what became Jews whom he selected once they already started to profit heavily from within inside of Ukraine, and Ukrainians excited about their potential jobs, more jobs, a demand from Ukrainians to torture me. These people here that you see started to solicit torture against me whenever that would be delivered to Ukraine. So giving Ukrainians the ability to even further fulfill their Western expectations. Ukrainians don't even know why the fuck they separated from Russia today. I'll be honest with you. Because I am the person because of whom Eastern Europe have fallen apart in a great way. I'm not entirely deserved, but I was the child, the baby, that started the process and became a symbol of this resistance that took Soviet Union and Yugoslavia apart. Today, however, as a matter, not today, I was used for the Ukrainian intelligence to sting, through the sting operations, entire Ukraine, village to village, not only city to city, for the Ukrainian intelligence to create a map of what to expect where. And everything was done through the bestiality, through the torture. And based on what you can see is that Zelensky did nothing other than solicit my support for the Ukraine. And based on MK Ultra, that would even require me to continue to bitch against the European leaders, NATO, United States of America, and how they don't give a fuck about Ukraine, how they don't send weapons and this and that. So those could actually prove me wrong. So instead of being arrested, like people like Ursula von der Leyen and so on, they remain as politicians, as figures, and through the solicitations of Zelensky, continue to sit basically on my casket, literally like this. Ukrainians don't give a fuck about who, what, and how. They are just a tool in hands of Germans, and that's something that pushed me away from the Ukrainian cause, because I'm not going to say they don't have the heart, because they do, for their own wallets. For their own wallets, they do. They see everything through the wallets, which is the correct thing to do. I'm not going to meddle into it. I just want these things to be clear.
In Minneapolis, the representative there. This, of course, comes as tensions are still high after the shooting of Alex Preddy. Let's take breaking news now. We're getting word of a disturbance at Ilhan Omar's town hall in...
I already spoke about the Ilhan Omar today when I had a little outburst. I had enough of this fucking hypocrisy. For that matter, what you're going to do is you're going to read this here if you like. I'm just going to scroll down. I'm just going to do it like this. I had enough of it, folks. For me, it's enough. I'm not giving you not even a chance. Not even a try. You are too much. You have gone too far with this stuff. It's all based on incidents they rehearsed before. I described the incidents. I totally described everything about the stuff that went on, including the Levit and the registered nurse. The first male nurse was used and so on. I totally described the whole thing. But just remember, this is not the video dedicated to this. This is just like a little update. I probably should have been doing all along updates like this all the time. Much of it I caught over there through the blog, to the writings like this, but most of it I did not. Because if I wanted to catch everything like this, writing it down, everything, it's impossible. I wouldn't do that. That's ugly stuff, basically, that I exposed. It's just really ugly. People are fucking dying in Gaza and stuff like this so that you guys can collect money and so on. This is the same shit like BlackRock, let's say, in Ukraine with the Black Lives Matter. People dying over there in Palestine, and even worse things are about to happen, and, you know. So you're gonna
Minneapolis, the representative there. This, of course, comes as
this bullshit, this lies by yourself.
Tensions are still high after the shooting of Alex Preddy. Let's take a listen.
I have seen that already before during MK Ultra when they will bring me to this town hall, with people rushing through the city to this town hall, gesturing me. It's all kinds of stuff that happens. Eventually, when I did this stuff, I screwed it up. This is yet another video I trace here. This one here belongs to... Oh yeah, well. This is my comments. The two of my comments are right here. These are my comments. Fake. Even German Friedrich Merz, you know who the Friedrich Merz is, negotiated here scene crime with American police, claiming we'll have a war going on in Ukraine and would be great to keep me entertained with the scene here. All kinds of police incidents. The loving Christ follower had a German Jewish roots. This is about the guy who got himself into supposedly deadly standoff with the police. A hot blonde sister here seen standoff repeated. Over the years with the police, I remember mom was really hot. Actually, I think he even had two sisters. I'm not sure. Might have been his wife, I don't know. As a shootout situation inside the house and so on, prior Mount Everest MK Ultra torture, which Lindners got themselves involved into. These are American Jews, actually German Jews, a mixture of them, Ashkenazi and Germans, literally with Friedrich Merz involved in it. He went on to investigate all this stuff that American police prepared. These people were involved since I was in a grammar school. These people were since like I was in a technical, like 89, 87, 86. I think he did have a sister. I think that it was more than him. I think that he had a siblings, and I think that he actually got married to a blonde wife, and I think that his brothers did not, something like this. And so because he followed my pattern, as he was the one who liked me, or therefore, and married the blonde woman that I preferred, he ended up like this. You remember the Jewish rabbi, the way I explained to you about him? Or this is pretty much identical shit. That's the kind of stuff we have going on. I know that his wife is blonde, I know that. It says in the end that he's a loving Christian with a, well, it might be, I don't care. Whether he is a Christian or whatever he is, this is just not the way to do the stuff. No, maybe you think it is the way to do stuff. Well, more power to you in that case. I'm sure you're gonna love it. Let's just do it like this. There's one thing that I like about this page here, just for me to finish this video. Yeah. So that you understand what I see when I do this.
I just had someone threatening the direction workers. He was outside of his car, put a vest on, and
there is one thing about all this stuff that I liked about it. Oh shit, I got a wrong one. Okay. Should just the video I had right there prepared. It would be great if I get the same video again. This is just not it. This is some other one. This is where Ilhan Omar goes full schizophrenic mode. No. This is where the Donald Trump is making the star out of Ilhan Omar. The two definitely work together, absolutely, with Donald Trump ridiculing himself, make himself even more stupid than what he actually is. You don't see this very often, but hey. I did close that one down, haven't I? I really like that. There is a comment right there. Oh. Let me just see if I can get through here to this thing here. Could not. Okay, maybe then you can get this stuff done like this. Is it just maybe see one of those that I already did clicked on it or something like that. Maybe not. Then yeah, I think I'm out of luck, but there was a comment that says so the Christmas rabbit was real. No, it's not a Christmas, it's national embarrassment. Ilhan Omar, not attacks representative, is representative. Huh. Yeah, I could swear that stuff was on the YouTube. Stuff that we have just seen shortly is what I'm trying to find. Yeah, I'm gonna have to stop this. Damn it, is this shit stupid. A man charges toward Rep Ilhan Omar. Ram charges toward, I just gotta make sure. Charges toward Rep Ilhan Omar during town hall. Rep Ilhan Omar during town hall. Oh my goodness. There's like no It's like, no, there's nothing going on here. This is a towards rep man charges. No, is toward. Right, so F toward fucking F. Control F. Shoo. This computer is not even responsive. So this is the video I had earlier on. Yeah, what I really liked is this comment here. What was the Barney from The Simpsons? Oh, this people already started to talk about this stuff like that. Isn't that a sword? No, but the top comment that was right there. People are not taking it seriously. The Easter Bunny is real. Hey, I like that. This is right at the top of it. People are really taking it seriously. I think the whole America is laughing about this bullshit already. I don't think that America is taking this stuff seriously at all. So I don't know who you guys are trying to convince. It's just that bunny comment is so good. Really, I like that.
Breaking news now. We're getting word of a disturbance at Ilhan.
People that are reading the stuff that I post on the blog, even that government is doing everything to portray the whole thing like a joke, but it's not. It's a lot of people that are familiarized with this blog. Really? Yeah, because you have to pull all these comments out. The next on ABC, the Easter Bunny is real. See how quickly you can become offensive in America. Just you say, you give a comment like this, the Easter Bunny is real. Yeah, the Easter Bunny is real. It's Easter, it's not a Christmas. Sorry about that. The Easter Bunny is real. What's more real is an idiot inside of the White House. These idiots are real. They demanded for me to pose as a bunny at the White House. Whenever they had this bunny circus, that's what they would do is they would demand from me to agree my being a bunny. And as it would appear to me, they would even do this stuff during actual inaugurations, which is something I'm not particularly sure, because they did rehearse stuff before they would do this stuff. The bunny from the Holy Grail, which was involved in MK Ultra, it looks like it's real, more than an Easter bunny. So this is just a wrong way to try to undermine somebody, even if it's a child. A child might have a character like I have. I probably really did embarrass them, because with their royal expectations, they believe that I'm just like the rest of the world, just like the rest of the people, that you can just go and you can just humiliate, basically, just make them crawl right in front of your schoolmates, which you interact day to day. And what used to be even Socialist Republic of Yugoslavia, like a Soviet Union, and you want to go to do this shit to the child so the other children can pick on him. It's very, very bad stuff you did. Stuff like you did, you came here to me to do shit like this is just like, it's just really, 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 really wrong. You did some really, really bad stuff. The stuff that you did to me in my early school years, and it did not stop. This repeated on quite a few occasions. We had this kind of runarounds, and I would just stay away from it. Sometimes it must have been like maybe even 7th grade or something like that. British Royals, might have been 7th grade, 6th or 7th grade. They had me everywhere. They took me with them skiing to Switzerland and so on. They gave up on it. With Charles stated to me that he feels that it's too difficult for me, you know, in that sense. It wasn't too difficult for me. Why are you such a fucking idiot? Why are you such a dick? Why are you such a fucking dickhead, man, that you go and you do this to the kids? It must have been probably 8th grade of the grammar school when he had me during MK Ultra. They had me on this skiing. They were doing skiing and stuff. They would always take me with them. Why are you such a dickhead, man? Why are you such a dickhead that you made me do stuff like this? Now I don't have a choice, and now look what is on the top of the page. That's a Prince Andrew right there. Now look what you did. Look how far you brought this whole thing, you fucking asshole. Was it worth it for you to end up like this, like this with me on the picture, with my describing the whole thing? I lived longer than what you anticipated the case would be, and what did you manage to accomplish with this stuff today, when you look at it? Why was it necessary? You were taken as the royals, and I never asked you to do so. In your family, all kinds of nobodies, wherever you found, and you mistreated me like this. I mean, you know, now you're on your own, no, definitely. For as long as I live, what you see right here is a header is not going to change ever. This is going to stay with you for as long as I live. Nothing really matters at this point in time than my doing a job that you assigned me to.